What's up, guys? Welcome to Cat 6 Cycling. My name is Sebastian, and today we're going to be looking at the Giro de San Francisco Cat 45. But before we start the video, I'd like to give a quick thank you to Jeffrey Yates for letting me use his footage, as this isn't my perspective or power. With me today is Ivan Linser, crit banger extraordinaire. And with that, let's jump right in.
Alright, so where are you here?
So this is sort of right after the start finish. We've got a left, right, and then another right, and this is sort of one of the key points on the course. It's a slight false fat uphill drag, maybe like 3 or 4% for the first block, and then it kicks up to 6 or 7%. It isn't really a big hill, but you got to be, I guess, smart with the way you approach it, or else you're gonna end up burning a lot of energy.
Right, it's definitely a place where you can move back if you're not, staying on it.
So onto the first really big attack of the race. There's a group of 2 or so off the front, and you're going to see me for the first time covering this guy bridging across. Yep, that's me right there.
Right on the left.
And
oh, here you are. Okay.
This breakaway, it doesn't go anywhere. But you can see that corner right there, right out of the start finish. It's interesting because you've got train tracks on the other side.
Right, and then you cross them on that second turn on the right. But I felt like those weren't really an issue for anyone. I didn't see any issues all day with them. So here you are, right in front of the guy with the camera. So what's happening here?
So we're going up the hill that's halfway through the course, for maybe 3 or so laps in, and bam! Attack on the left from Max. He's going to solo in the next 30-odd minutes and win the race.
So he was solo this whole time?
Yeah, pretty impressive, but
okay.
Definitely aided by some of the dysfunction behind.
Right, but right. Was there any teams in this race, or was it mostly kind of solo, everyone for themselves?
There were some teams, namely Dolce Vita, which Jeffrey, the guy who took the footage, was on, but the teams didn't really figure too much into the race. There wasn't much control at all, which sort of what was enabled him to stay off the front. What's your experience with very early breakaways? How do they usually pan out?
I think it kind of depends on the category, right? Like when there's more team dynamics in the higher categories, typically you won't have solo moves as much, but definitely when there's not as much function, you could have people go off the front for the whole race. It's definitely happened, and it's a little frustrating when nobody chases it back, but it happens, and it's just kind of a fight for second at some point. All right, so that guy up the front has been off the front for a little bit, and here we go into the 7% hill again. So you want to tell us what happens here?
So Jeffrey's on the front, putting some good power. You can see like a bit over 600 watts, but I decided to use this opportunity to try and bridge. I don't attack on the hill, but I attack right afterwards and through with some speed, and I'm gonna try and bridge up to the solar winner of the race, Max, but
spoiler,
Benton Balthus on the front, bringing me back.
So
definitely keeping the race together in the middle part.
So about how long were you up on the front for?
I'm off the front for like around a lap.
A lap. Okay, so not a big energy expenditure, but definitely a little bit of a little push.
Yeah.
Get the heart rate up.
Eventually, I look back and I see Fenton is right there. I'm like, this is not gonna stick.
Well, you can see you caused a little bit of chaos. The Jeffrey was over 800 for a little bit there, and you can see some gaps forming. So you definitely did cause a little bit of chaos in the back, which is probably a good thing for you since you're up the road. All right, so Sebastian, about how many laps do we have to go here?
This is like maybe a third through the race, so we've still got a good like 20-30 minutes to go.
Right. You can see here I mean, this is kind of how you know he definitely has a good shot at winning it up the road. Is you guys are what, like 7 abreast here, and not putting down a lot of power. Probably like zone 1, zone 2.
This is a few laps later. Benton is taking a pull on the front, sort of at the towards the start finish straight. Gives me the elbow end. Bam.
You kind of just launch it through, and you immediately get a gap. And look at that, he's over 700 watts for quite a good bit there, in the draft as well. So that was kind of a fierce attack. It looked like you guys maybe had a little bit of something going to try to, group up and chase him back. But you can see like things like that weren't necessarily a bad move, but when there's someone up the road, that's kind of how they continue to grow that gap, is with all this constant attacking. So I think for you, if you had the power to bridge, it would have been a great move. But otherwise, it's just causing a little bit more chaos, and
I guess looking back, Benton's a strong dude, and he's obviously trying to keep me on a leash, so I'm probably not going to get away here.
Yeah, look at that power in the draft still. Like, I mean, you probably have been over 400 for probably at least half a lap, and yeah, that was definitely fierce.
Let's play that corner back real quick, because I get equipped.
Hell yeah. And that's how I take a corner.
All right, so we're 3 to go, and you can see the games have started. It's starting to bunch up a little bit. We're 2-3 wide here, and the speed is not as intense as it was before, which is pretty normal as you get to the end of a crit. So what's happening from your perspective right now?
So I'm not too confident in my sprint, especially not in my positioning, like sprinting from a pack. As you know, positioning is like half the sprint, and this is sort of the first crit where I'm sort of getting into the groove a bit. My first 2 crits I just DNF'd or gone off the back, so
Right. Here,
it's
sorry to interrupt, but look, we got some attacks going up now, which also makes sense, right? People want to get off the front, last lap, not that much more time. Here's you going up the left. He's telling Fenton right here to go, try to get onto, but he kind of pulls back there. He kind of sits up, right? Which really helps you, because he just made everyone else have to go around him now, and you just grew that gap by another second or 2.
Yeah, you could see
that.
Benton was taking a pull up the hill, and then when I attacked, the elbow went out immediately.
Right.
Tired. Jeffrey's a
He's
bit
tired. I mean, that was almost like a good team tactic. So 2 to go now. You have probably about, let's see, maybe a 3-4 second gap with 2 to go.
Yeah.
Here's Fenton again. Guy comes in pretty hard in the corner. Good line. And it's definitely starting to ramp up a little bit. So what are you thinking right now from your perspective up the road?
I'm just sending it as hard as I possibly can, and hoping there's some dysfunction behind, which lets me build that gap. And as we'll see soon enough, Super Sprinkles playing with his number, everyone's sort of looking at each other. This is sort of the moment which lets me get away.
I see you looked back there. What are you thinking from here? Like, thinking that, oh yeah, I already got this, or what do you?
I was getting a bit nervous. I thought the gap would grow out faster than it would.
But as you can see, there still isn't really like full coordination back in the bunch. Like you can see Jeffrey on the front only doing like 250. Let's skip ahead to 1 to go to see how this race pans out.
So here we go. This is 1 to go, and it's looking pretty normal. I think, besides the fact that you 2 are up the road. What's your gap now? About maybe 5-10 seconds?
Yeah, something around that.
And we can't see you through the corner. Once you get out of sight like that, it definitely helps a lot. People kind of forget to chase you. So even though your gap isn't a lot in terms of seconds, at least you have that extra out of distance.
The guy who won, Max, his gap had never really exploded, but it was always that we only caught a few glimpses of him every lap, so it was
Right.
easy to sort of forget.
Probably on this long straightaway, right?
Yeah.
So now we're coming into pretty much the last two turns. I see you up the road right there. The gap isn't that big. Alright, so last two turns, everyone wants to be probably top 3, 4 wheels. The last two turns are a little bit more techy than the others. You come in fast. We're going over 30. And here you are up at the front. Not a very big gap. Definitely, if there were some strong sprinters right there, they definitely can get that. So there you are through the last corner, probably the last 200 meters to go. You see these guys hit it really hard out of the sprint. There you are. The guy in the white jersey comes around your right, and right through the line. Oh.
I ended up finishing second, but you may have caught right here. White jersey guy finished third. Ooh, he almost died in the last
flipped the
corner.
pedal. Okay.
Going like 30 miles an hour. Absolutely crazy.
It was a nice save though. It was definitely a good save right there.
Yeah.
And then everyone else rolls in. So this was actually enough points for you to get your 3 upgrade.
Yep. This is what got me my 3 upgrade. And now we can take a short look at the power real quick for the race.
Let's look at these power numbers.
For my numbers, do keep in mind that I'm the bigger guy. I weigh 76 kilos, that's around 168 pounds. But for the race, I averaged 309 watts with a normalized of 350. For my attack off the front, towards the end of the race, I averaged a little under 430 watts for around 5 minutes, with a peak a little under 1100 to get away, and then doing around like 450 on the flats, and then a solid final sprint considering I was out in the wind for the previous 5 minutes. Overall, pretty happy with how this race went. Definitely did make some mistakes, but it was a great experience. Thank you, Ivan, for your insights. But especially, I'd like to thank you, the viewer, for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, feel free to like and subscribe. And until next time.
Hell yeah. And that's how I take a corner.